Welcome back to the second episode of Inside F1, where we explore the passion and innovation behind the brand. Today, you will hear from Ralf Grösel, renowned kite designer and the brain behind the revolutionary Brainchild Production. During a recent trip to North Macedonia, our art director Lucas sat down with Ralf to dive into the origins of the Brainchild project. They discussed how this collaboration with F1 came to life and explored the sustainable innovations and advanced materials that are shaping the future of kitesurfing. So we hope you enjoy this conversation and do not hesitate to send us feedback, questions, or comments.
Hello, Ralf.
Hello.
I'm Lucas. I prepared some questions for you about Brainchild and sustainability and all your works you did here. So first question, could you tell us how the Brainchild project started and what triggered your decision to go ahead with it?
I think the main trigger was the fact that when I started working for the kite industry, which is some year back, I always had the idea in mind that I never come to the point where I'm not able to innovate anymore. And being in the industry for now over 20 years, like basically I started fly surfer when I was 20, and this was in 2000. Now we have 2004, so 24 years I'm in the industry. And it was always kind of a, let's say, dark spot on the horizon for me. If I'm not able to really make a difference, then I was always telling myself, okay, then I have to quit basically what I'm doing, because if you can't questionnaire yourself anymore, if you can't really make a difference in the way you innovate products, then I was just not seeing myself in doing or designing anymore. So, and that is kind of the main trigger for Brainchild. Over here, it is the essence of everything I have been doing my entire career in a way that I created the dream spot, the dream environment for me to be innovative for the next 20 years. That's kind of, I would say, in a very long nutshell.
And what made you choose this particular location?
Yeah, North Macedonia was kind of an accident. I met a paragliding pilot from North Macedonia in Cape Town 8-9 years ago, and he told me about North Macedonia, and actually I had no clue where this little country was. I mean, I have been in Bulgaria quite often during my childhood, but North Macedonia was just really not familiar to me. And then he invited me over here, and then I figured out, okay, this looks very much like the memories I had from my childhood. And the paragliding was insane. And we have been here in behalf of Icaro Paragliders, where I was the designer for. So, I just kind of fell in love with the country and always had in mind, and always were telling people one day I have to come over here and just start a project, which I did.
Yeah. Okay. What are the technical innovations that can be found here?
The most two obvious ones is on one side, the digital printing, which is very difficult to achieve on the type of textiles we're using, because all the fabrics are very much related to the water sport industry, which means that they are all water repellent. And to print on water repellent fabrics is everything but easy. So this is quite of a big challenge to make it work. This is something which the client will obviously figure out the first time when they see a Brainchild product that it looks different. But then on the other side, it's the technical aspect of how to manufacture the kite. I came up with a new modular system, which means all the bits and pieces, the way you're putting the kite together is different to other manufacturing sites. And the biggest difference is the ProWeld technology, which is the welded leading edge. And and welding is basically one of the core assets we are having, and everything around is related to sustainability, which is a huge factor, especially here being in Europe. We have access to much better sources than we would have somewhere else. And I think it's the combination.
And in the same topic, what are the main emissions of traditional manufacturing versus Brainchild?
Yeah, one of the main emissions is actually to the transportation, because you always have to see like where are the raw materials coming from. And yes, we do also have raw materials which are coming from Asia, but we have a lot of materials which are coming here from Europe. The canopy material, for example, the bladder, which is a massive part. Then everything in terms of molded parts, like valves, everything is also made here. The yarn is recycled, made in Europe. The webbings are all recycled rPET from Germany. So we have established different supply chains in order to have the lowest footprint possible in comparison to anybody else.
Okay, and what is implemented here to reduce the environmental impact of production?
Well, in this particular regard, we are running on 100% solar power, for example. I think that's a very important point. And then if you just look to how we are actually taking care about our infrastructure itself, our technology requires very dedicated climate control, for example. And having the solar and the climate control 100% on electricity is a huge step first of all. Plus, as mentioned, the supply chain, making sure that whatever we can purchase here in North Macedonia, we are getting from here. That's a kind of a different philosophy than normally.
Can you give us some numbers, like what you're saving carbon emissions on your Brainchild factory?
No, not really. I mean, we have been looking into this particular topic, but carbon emissions, like for us, is not actually something we are focusing on because there are other variables which are much more important than carbon emissions. For example, again, like where we are getting our materials from and in which way we are making sure that we don't have to ship certain items around the world to get them. And I know it's very famous to have carbon emissions.
Yeah.
As an indicator, I personally think it's not the right way of actually measuring a footprint of a product. We have done it, and there are also projects to measure it, and it is possible in a certain way. But for me personally, I'm not focusing on this.
Really interesting.
On that matter.
And what are the advantages of using such materials?
First of all the materials you see have not been used anywhere else before. So let's assume you have 100 components, and what we did is actually we looked into these 100 components and decided where we are getting them from. It starts with the buckles we are making from wood, as I said, the recycled webbings, the fabric which is made in Europe, and it's all technical materials. No? Like every single material has its specific purpose. For example, the Flylight 50 hard material we're getting from Porsche Sport from France has been developed for us. So we are the only company in the world using it, and it's according to our specifications. The same is in regards of the strut material. The same applies for the leading edge material. The same actually applies in certain ways also for the bladder material, which is 25% bio-based. So wherever you look at, we are totally unique in the sum of all its variables to our competitors.
How did the partnership with F1 start?
How did it start? It's actually a good question. I have to remember this. I mean, for me, it started with Raphael and Robert visiting me in South Africa, in Langebaan. And yeah, I mean, of course, we had some contact before in order to meet each other. But it was a super, super nice first meeting. We had dinner together, and I think just from that particular evening dinner, everything just went kind of straightforward to me.
And what are you looking to develop with our brand?
I think what my general goal is to make unique products. Yeah, as initially mentioned, I want to do something which is unique in a way that you have added value, because it's fun sport. It's a lifestyle driven sport in general. And ultimately, if I'm not able to create a smile on the face of our clients, then I failed. And luckily, so far, it went all right in my career. And I just want to continue what I've been starting to make sure that there are products out there worth trying, worth buying, because that actually means that people are enjoying what I'm doing or what we are doing in general. And I think this is also one of the very important heritage for F1, making products which are putting a smile on the client's face, because this is all about.
Any specific new techniques you're working at the moment?
Yeah, no, not only one, but a couple. Yeah, of course. And the ProWell technology is just a kickoff for further developments. And there's, yeah, as I mentioned, like I know that in the next 20 years, I will be in the position to innovate in consistent time frames. But everything has to find its time. Yeah, I mean, here we are a startup company. It's a very crazy approach of what we are trying to achieve. So far, it's going well. Next year will be another massive milestone for us by building up the manufacturing side. And we have to make sure that we are like not innovating faster than we are actually able to keep up. So I can guarantee there will be more innovation coming.
Cool. Hard question. What are the main advantages of purchasing a Brainchild kite?
It's the best price to value ratio on the market. Full stop. There's no other product which comes even close to what we are doing. We have the lightest kites. We have the most sustainable kites. And I think also in performance, like as I said, price to value, performance to value, it's kind of unmatched.
And what is your ultimate goal for Brainchild?
The ultimate goal is to remain in the position to lead innovation in the field we are all in the wind-driven sport article branch. Yeah, so this is kind of our ultimate goal, and really being in the position to innovate. Yeah, an idea is worth nothing if you can't make it come true. So what you have to have is the infrastructure to make ideas come true. And that's basically, this is the goal. It's always trying to be in the position to say like, okay, we think it goes to the left, it goes to the right, and we see new innovations on the horizon, and then really making them market ready.
I think we finished. Thank you, Ralf.
That's pretty quick.
And hope everything will be super cool for the future.
Yeah, I also hope that we can achieve what we're actually having on our menu. But I think there's definitely something interesting in front of us, and especially in front of our clients. And I really do hope that we can make some people happy. Thank you.
Thank you.